okay? But suppose somebody was browsing your website where you had this SWF, and they had a huge screen. I guess it's kind of getting cut off here, but you know, this is probably what I'm looking at now is probably 1200 pixels high, and you know, another 2000 or so on the width. So it's basically it's almost a variable stage size. You have no idea what the stage size per person is going to be, because it's always going to depend on their monitor. So this is where something like this is going to come in handy, where instead of hard coding a start point to a specific number, you're now making it dependent on the user themselves. And that's why we called this tweening and staging. But of course, that's not all I have to say about staging. Come down here and let's write stage.add event listener. Boy, it does feel good to have those code hints back there, doesn't it? And actually, yeah, hey, look at this. You can see all sorts of different things over here for event. And in this case, I'm going to go with resize. Hey, how come I'm not getting my... there we go. At least it turned green. Okay, the event that we are listening out for is the resizing of the stage. Okay, and now we get to name our function. Let's call this resizing. Again, that can be any name that we want. Dive down here, function resizing, and hopefully your brain is once again putting together kind of the patterns that I talked about before, where we have just kind of a set and very similar way of doing things each time. You know, this is the object that is getting listened out for. Okay, here's the event. In the past example, this is tween event. This time it's just a regular event. And again, this is the kind of property that we want to listen in on, the resizing function name. And once again, we're going to write event colon, and then we want to repeat back this right here. Okay, so we just paste right back in there, event. Again, we're not returning anything from this, so we write void, and oh, that's nice, it filled in that closing bracket for me. Okay, save it up, and this time around, let's write moon.x equals stage width, and we're going to divide this by 2, so we do that slash right there, and then just put a 2 in there, and let's see what happens. Publish it out. Okay, our x value is still going to be at what it initially was before, but now when we start resizing the stage, see how it jumped out, and it's basically in the middle of the stage. It seems a little bit like it's skewed off to the right, and I mean it is. The reason for that is if we go over here and oops, actually if I just select this this object, it's measuring the x value of this moon based on, see that little kind of crosshair right there in the top left, and so maybe a better way of looking at this is if I were to hit 0 for the x. Okay, that means you can see that the moon is, its x point is over here at the 0, but it's not like it's centered up right there. Okay, so we're the center point in the or where this little crosshair in the center point of the artwork itself, then it would seem like the moon was more in the center of the stage. And of course you can double click inside of your artwork and you can just move things around like so, and then republish again. Let's resize it, and sure enough, that is looking like it is centered up right in the middle of the stage. Let me undo that though, because I don't want to change this artwork around too much for you guys, since you're gonna have to kind of inherit whatever I end up leaving for this example. But that's where it's a little bit of extra math can come in. So let's put this in parentheses first, okay, and then let's subtract. Let's see, what's the height of this guy? I mean the width. The width is 175, so half that is going to be about I don't know, 88 or so, right? Let's get the actions back open. So let's subtract out 88. That's not right, is it? Who cares? Okay, now let's resize it. And sure enough, that again looks like it's centered up Okay. Oh boy, there's a lot of fun things we can do now, isn't there? Now that we have some code for resizing. Let's do this. Let's make use of our stars. Okay, so stars.x, and again, let's play around with stage width, and we'll divide those by 2 again. Let's also subtract about 500 from that, because that'll help compensate from for where the overall width of those stars. And again, you see a slight little jump in the beginning, but now they're just basically staying centered up with the stage. Jump back over here. Oh, can anybody guess what we're going to do next? We're going to write backdrop, and of course that's the instance name for this guy, backdrop. And there we go, backdrop dot width. Okay, this time we're using the width property, not the x property, and this will just be stage width. All right, now let me start pulling on this guy, and let me move it over here. Oops. You can see that entire symbol now, just the backdrop, is getting widened with the overall size of the SWF. And here's kind of where it helped us to have this top left over here, because let's say we just had T for this. I believe, yeah, things are going to look a little bit weird. It's still doing the same math that it was before, but remember, it's keeping this entire object, it's kind of centered up. So yeah, we wanted this. If you do want to kind of control your center points or your registration points for your symbols early on, one thing you can do is I'm going to just create a square real fast and double click on this. I'm going to go over here to convert to symbol. Let's call this square. And see this registration right here. Usually I have it set over here in the top left, but well, let's do it for this one. And then let's copy this symbol, just paste it right back over here. I'm going to go over here to break apart under modify, then convert to symbol again. This time we'll call it square 2, and we will make that registration point in the middle, and that will have you know, the effect on the resizing or the placement of its middle point, and which is pretty easy to see if we were just go over here to properties. Let's call this S1, this one S2, and then jump back over here to our actions. It should be obvious as soon as we write. Actually, let's take this. Call that S1. Get rid of the -88. S2. Okay, so now when we resize it, you can see that that the one with the registration point, or that our top one over here, is the one that's kind of skewed off to the right like that. And the one with the registration in the middle is nice and centered up. So I guess if you are constantly doing something where you know that you're going to be aligning things to the center, then you might as well get used to having that registration point in the middle there. Okay, let's get rid of that. If you guys want to see a common error, look at this one right here. It says access of undefined property S2. If you see that, which you inevitably will at some point, it just means that your code can't find the object in question. And of course, that's because we deleted those off stage. So get rid of that code and we won't see that error anymore. All right, going back over to, well, my notes. Let's see. Okay, well, suppose we wanted to have these properties set early on, okay, which kind of makes sense because, you know, we have been seeing this kind of weird, awkward jump when you resize it and then everything kind of jumps into position. It would make a lot more sense if those same settings were set up, let's say, at the top, okay, like so. And by the way, you can always hit this button right here if you get some weird kind of line formatting. And now, when we publish this, okay, there our moon is lined up nice and in the middle again.